From Delhi to Canada. How Prem Watsa became the Indian Warren Buffett of the investment world. It is the silence of the night. A young man is standing outside the airport with a small bag in his hand. There is very little money in his pocket. An unknown country lies ahead. His own city has been left behind. And in his heart there is only one question. Will this decision make his life or take everything away? The fear is even bigger because when a person leaves his home, his language, and his comfort behind, only two paths remain before him. Either he gets lost in the crowd or the world begins to recognize him. And this is where the curiosity is born. How did that same quiet boy who came out of Hyderabad and reached Canada with an almost empty pocket go on to become the kind of investor people started calling Canada's Warren Buffett? Prem Watsa's story is not just the story of making money. It is a story of patience, discipline, character, and that rare mindset which rises above the noise of the market and recognizes value. Today, when most people in the world are chasing quick profit, fast returns, and instant success, Prem Watsa's journey shows us that real wealth is often built slowly, but when it is built, it leaves an impact for generations. Fairfax Financial, which today is a global financial group, was not built on a glamorous beginning, but on struggle, study, mentorship, and cool-headed understanding. Today, Fairfax operates at a large scale through insurance, reinsurance, and investment businesses, and after 2025, its total assets have been described at a level of nearly $87 billion. Prem Watsa was born on the 5th of August 1950 in Hyderabad. His family was not very wealthy. His father was a school teacher, which means there was no glamour at home, but there were values. And that is exactly the thing that later shapes the way a person thinks. The people who come out of homes where discipline, study, and restraint are taught often begin to see life not through shortcuts, but through a long-term lens. Prem Watsa too grew up in such an environment from childhood. He studied at Hyderabad Public School, and this is the same school whose alumni include major names like Satya Nadella, Shantanu Narayan, and Ajay Banga. Later, he earned a degree in chemical engineering from IIT Madras. Up to this point, the story looks like that of a bright Indian student. But life's big turn came when management studies and career direction pushed him out of India. It is said that he did not want to leave India, but family circumstances and the logic of the future forced him to go to Canada. This was the moment where an ordinary migration story slowly began to turn extraordinary. Reaching Canada was not easy. A new place, a new culture, new competition, and the pressure to survive. In the middle of all this, he completed his MBA from the Ivy Business School at the University of Western Ontario. To support his studies and expenses, he even sold furnaces, air conditioners, and heaters. This detail may sound small, but it is exactly here that you understand that this man began living life not from a comfort zone, but in grind mode. In many people's lives, a degree becomes the turning point, but in Prem Watsa's life, the real turning point was not a degree, but a mentor. In 1974, he started working as a research analyst at Toronto's Confederation Life Insurance Company. For him, this role was not just a job, but a laboratory of investment thinking. It was there that he met John Watson, who introduced him to Benjamin Graham's value investing philosophy. Graham's core principle was simple. Find companies that are selling below their intrinsic value, whose foundations are strong, and then hold them with patience. Prem Watsa did not just read this idea. He absorbed it into himself. That is why later, in his investment decisions, there appeared to be less noise and more conviction. Today, in the world of social media, investing is often presented like a thrill. Somewhere there is noise about multi-baggers, somewhere the temptation of overnight returns. But Prem Watsa comes from that school where investing is not excitement, it is discipline. He did not want to become a trading hero, he wanted to become a capital allocator. Like Warren Buffett, he too understood that the market may be a voting machine in the short term, but in the long term, it becomes a weighing machine. It is this thinking that kept making him different from other investors. He did not see the market like a casino, but like business ownership. This very thinking later shaped the entire culture of Fairfax. A few years later, together with Tony Hamblin, he started Hamblin Watsa Investment Council. Then in 1985, he took control of Markel Financial, which was a struggling business and had a connection to the trucking insurance business. This step was huge because from here, Prem Watsa was no longer just an analyst or a fund manager. He became a business builder. In 1987, its name was changed to Fairfax Financial Holdings Limited. The company linked the name Fairfax to its acquisition philosophy. Fair, friendly acquisitions. This name was not just branding, it was an approach. Prem Watsa did not want to build the image of a hostile empire builder. He wanted to appear like an owner who does not buy a business in order to break it apart, but to build it. It is very important to understand Fairfax's model because Prem Watsa's real brilliance is hidden right there. In the insurance business, there is a concept called float. That is, the money that comes in as premium from policyholders remains with the insurer until claims are settled. If the company remains disciplined in underwriting and invests this float smartly, then over time extraordinary compounding can happen. This is the same model Warren Buffett used masterfully in Berkshire Hathaway, and Prem Watsa built it in his own style at Fairfax. The difference was that he considered risk management equally serious. His philosophy was not only about putting money to work, but also about protecting capital. That is why many times, when the market was very confident, Prem Watsa remained cautious. His caution before the 1987 stock market crash remained a subject of discussion. During the 2008 financial crisis too, Fairfax had built protection through positions like credit default swaps, which gave the company a major benefit when the global system shook. This does not mean Prem Watsa always predicted everything perfectly. No investor can do that. But what made him different was that he did not become blind in times of exuberance, and he did not become paralyzed in times of panic. That is the real test of mature investing. Of course, there were setbacks in his journey too. The insurance business cannot remain untouched by weather events, catastrophes, pandemic shocks, and market volatility. Hurricanes like Harvey, Irma, and Maria, and disruptions like COVID also hurt Fairfax. But the bigger thing was that every time, instead of breaking systemically, the company kept adapting. In its 2025 financial results, Fairfax reported net earnings of around $4.8 billion, and the company emphasized record underwriting profit, strong investment income, and book value growth. The 2025 shareholders letter stated that book value per share grew by around 21% that year on an adjusted basis, and the stock price also moved upward during the year. This is the kind of consistency that makes a financial institution move from ordinary to exceptional. Calling Prem Watsa Canada's Warren Buffett is not just a headline. There are some solid reasons behind it. First, he turned insurance float into a long-term investing engine. Second, his focus remained not on quarterly excitement, but on compounding book value per share. Third, he showed a rare mix of conservative language and aggressive intelligence. Fourth, he built the institution not on a personality cult, but on principles. Even in Fairfax's official materials, long-term growth in book value per share has been kept as a central objective. This shows that Prem Watsa thought of the company not as a short-term earnings game, but as a durable wealth creation machine. Now the story connects with India in an interesting way. When a person becomes successful in the world, the importance of his roots often grows even more. Something similar happened with Prem Watsa. India did not remain just his country of birth. It became a long-term opportunity. Fairfax has kept its attention on India for decades, and in 2011 its presence was strengthened through 𝐼𝐵 Capital. Then in 2014, Fairfax India Holdings was created, which is an India-focused investment vehicle. Recent reports of Fairfax India show exposure in sectors such as Bengaluru International Airport, the IFL platform, CSB Bank, logistics, manufacturing, and chemicals. This shows that Prem Watsa read India not only emotionally, but strategically as well. The scale of his investments in India is not small either. Different public reports and Fairfax India disclosures show that he viewed India as a long-term compounding market. A stake in an asset like Bengaluru Airport, stakes in financial services businesses, banking exposure, logistics, and manufacturing plays. All of this shows that his eye was not only on fashionable sectors, but also on sectors of a nation-building kind. Prem Watsa has repeatedly expressed confidence in India's long-term growth story. His logic is simple. Young population, rising consumption, improving infrastructure, financial deepening, and the expansion of entrepreneurship. A disciplined investor naturally likes such secular themes. His personal style is also interesting. Despite such a large financial empire, it is difficult to place Prem Watsa in the category of a flashy tycoon. Instead of building a loud image, he prefers measured communication. His letters and public remarks often carry a tone of humility, caution, and gratitude. Perhaps that is why his story remained a little away from mass glamour, but among serious investors, his respect runs very deep. The world often notices more those who speak more, but the markets very often reward those who think more. Prem Watsa is a man of the second category. There has also been public discussion around his family, especially around Ben Watsa. Ben Watsa has remained part of the Fairfax ecosystem, and his name appears in public filings. Some media reports and books connect him with next-generation leadership, but reading any formal public announcement as a straight succession declaration would still be premature. One thing needs to be understood here. For institution builders like Prem Watsa, legacy is not just about who will sit in the chair next, but also about how much the principles survive. If the culture survives, succession will be meaningful. If the culture goes, the designation will be of no use. Prem Watsa's story is special for Indian audiences also because it carries a very powerful emotional arc. A school teacher's son, Hyderabad's classrooms, the kathor training of IIT, the uncertainty of Canada, small jobs, mentorship, disciplined investing, acquisition of a struggling business, and then the creation of a global financial institution. This sounds like a film script. But the difference is that in films, the climax comes quickly, whereas in real life, Prem Watsa's climax was built slowly through compounding. What he taught the world is that intelligence is important in investing, but even more important than that is temperament. Waiting for the right opportunity, learning from mistakes, remaining calm in fear, remaining grounded in greed. That is the real edge. And perhaps that is why Prem Watsa's journey becomes not just the biography of a businessman, but a masterclass in mindset. Today, when young people in their restlessness to become rich quickly start treating risk like glamour, Prem Watsa's story shows that wealth is built not by noise, but by clarity. Value investing is not just about buying cheap stocks, but about character, patience, and conviction. Insurance float is not just financial jargon, but the engine of disciplined capital allocation. Global success is built not only by talent, but also by restraint. An immigrant struggle is not just an emotional chapter, but a furnace that hardens identity like steel. That is why when people call Prem Watsa the Indian Warren Buffett, it is not just a comparison, it is a recognition. Recognition of the fact that a man who came out of Hyderabad did not just become successful in Canada's financial world, he built his own school of thought there. He proved that a big beginning is not necessary. What is necessary is big thinking. Whether there are $8 in the pocket or even less does not matter. If there is discipline in the mind, patience in the heart, and the eyes fixed not on short-term glitter, but on long-term value, then a person does not just become rich, he becomes an institution. And perhaps Prem Watsa's biggest victory is exactly this. That before he made money, he earned trust. Before he built business, he built principles. And before he beat the market, he won over himself. If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible, but in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.